Impact Theory Comics is a new independent publisher, and they're releasing their first comic, Neon Future. The comic is a collaboration with world-famous DJ and producer Steve Aoki, and it's written by the Eisner Award-winning writer of Justice from DC Comics, Jim Krueger. With artwork by Neil Edwards and Jeremy Rapek, the artwork and story are absolutely mind-blowing. If you like science fiction, you're going to love this comic, so head over to your local comic store or Comics Conspiracy, and get Neon Future issue number 1 on your pull list ASAP. And while you're at it, if you have Instagram, you can see some of the artwork for yourself. It's at IT Comics on Instagram. Hello and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy, episode 402 for the week of May 21st, 2019. My name is Ryan Higgins, who's here with me this week.
Brock Sager.
And Scott might be coming. He said he was. He's not here.
I set up 5 mics. This is disappointing.
That's all right. We got 2 of us here. We'll see if Scott makes it.
Classic episode here.
Classic two-man podcast. What are you going to do?
I hate these.
Oh, it's all right. We got some stuff to talk about. I did get a question, so I'll figure I'll talk about this.
We're starting with a question?
Well, we'll talk about this briefly first. I spent a long weekend in New York City. I haven't been there since I was a kid, so it was cool. Got to go see Beetlejuice on Broadway, which is really good. It opened just like a month ago. It's just opened. Really good. Very different from the movie, but very different plot. But some of the broad strokes. But
is Copacabana in it?
No. Copacabana was not in Beetlejuice.
What is? Oh, sorry. What song am I thinking of?
Of course, making me completely forget. Shake Sonora.
Yeah, Shake Sonora. That's it.
And
that's it.
Yeah, and
that's the one.
Yeah, good.
My bad.
Yeah.
Was that in it?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. And Deo, of course, being the other big song. Yes, of course, those are in it. But a lot of the other kind of plot of the show goes in some pretty different directions. But it's still very, very funny. But I got a question from number 1 Brock Sager fan on Twitter.
What? We have a number 1 Brock Sager fan?
That's his name.
Oh, no.
Also known as Norman. He sends us a lot of questions. He says, how was your trip to New York? And what was your impression of Midtown Comics? So I wanted to talk about that briefly because I did get to go to Midtown. I've never been there. It's possible. No. The last time I went to New York City, I was a kid. It would have been shortly, because I moved here in 93.
Yeah.
So it would have been shortly after the launch of Image, which was 91. So it must have been
like
summer 92 or something.
Yeah. So you were 12?
I'm trying to remember when 12, 13, yeah. I'm trying to remember when Superman 500 out. Was that? Because the white bag one. Because I remember Dan Jurgens was there, and I can't remember if he was there for that or not. I don't remember what month that came out. Anyway, not important. That would have been the last time I was there. But I don't think I went to Midtown. I mean, I went to a comic book convention, which is why I went to New York. I'd been a couple times when I was a kid because I used to live on the East Coast. But I believe I don't have no recollection of going to Midtown Comics prior to that. So, yeah, Norman asked what I thought of it. Midtown's obviously a big store. They have 3 locations. I went to their original location, which is in Midtown, Manhattan. And it's big. I mean, it's definitely big. They have a lot of stuff.
That was published in June of 1993.
Superman 500?
The Adventures of Superman 500.
I mean, it's possible that's when it was, because that would have been before I moved out here.
Yeah, that
so I moved out in October.
You moved out here in October. Yeah.
I can't remember if it's when that issue was out or not. I believe it was right around that same time. I can't remember if it was 92 or 93, but yeah, that sounds right.
90. If it's that issue, 93.
Well, there was a big convention there. Because I know they had a lot of Death of Superman stuff, and Image, but obviously was kind of the big deal.
Well, and you had just started working at a shop selling.
Yeah, like the year prior to that. I'm working with the biggest quotation marks.
With the biggest air quotes known to man.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Midtown's cool. They've got a lot of stuff.
Which store did you go to?
So I went to their Midtown. I went to their original one, the first location. Okay. Yeah. It's upstairs already, so you have to go up like 2 flights of stairs to get to the store, and then it's 2 stories as well. So it's a big. It's definitely it's large. It's probably I mean, this won't help people that haven't been to our store, but to give you and people that have been here an idea, it's probably maybe 50% wider and maybe 70. I don't think it's quite. It might be twice, but it didn't feel it. It might be twice.
Twice as long?
Twice as long, yeah.
Because you're going the length of a building, then.
Yeah, maybe 50% wider, 50% longer. It didn't feel like it was. I mean, it's not.
But it's two stories.
You're not walking into a Target, right?
No, but it's still 2 stories.
Yeah, it's 2 stories, and so obviously they've got quite a lot of stuff. So on the bottom floor is all their current comics and graphic novels. Top floor is toys, back issues, T-shirts, things like that.
And heading up there is apparently the love of my life.
Oh, your Harley Quinn is on
mannequin thing.
Yeah, mannequins on the staircase. So it's a cool store. I mean, especially for the current week stuff, they had big stacks of books.
Okay.
Midtown, whenever there's a lot of these variant covers, they're like, oh, it's the Midtown variant, right? Because they're the only one they're going to qualify for it. So I'm assuming a lot of that's for mail order, and swapping between the stores. I think it's the Grand Central one is their other location. They're supposed to be a lot more modern and I don't want to say nicer, but more modern, because this is an old New York building, right? So
there's that, and then there's a location that used to be across from DC's publishing house, right?
They have a third one, but I don't know where that one is. Okay. Yeah. So they have 3. Well,
I mean, I guess we could use the internet and look it up.
Yeah. They have 3 stores. So I went to the Midtown one. I went to their original one, and it's a cool store. They got a lot of stuff, and I mean, there's other comic stores in New York, but clearly Midtown is going to be one of your best bets. Yeah. They have a lot of stuff. But it is like they had Jim, if he's listening, he would love it. They have a big display of a lot of the sideshow statues.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the middle on the upstairs.
Oh, wow.
But they're just kind of out in the open. I would think you'd get those behind a case or something. There was a lot of stuff that I was like,
okay, so
it was a lot of stuff where I was like, I probably would have clearanced this out by now. But, I mean, it's a tourist area, so you're going to get a lot of people coming in to buy random stuff.
So you went to the downtown one?
This sounds right.
The one basically in Lower Manhattan?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Then there's the one in Times Square, which I think is the one that's near DC's old publishing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because there's the Grand Central one.
Yeah.
And then they have a Midtown Comics warehouse.
Yeah. So I think the warehouse is, that's all their mail order stuff. So yeah, it was interesting to go to. Definitely if you're in New York, it's worth checking out. Again, it's a comic book store. It's not. I mean, it's the same stuff we have here. Yeah. It's just kind of more of it. Yeah. So it's definitely cool to see.
I never went to Midtown when I visited New York. Almost 18 years ago, 17 years ago. It's because at the time I wasn't into comics.
Yeah.
So, but if I do go again, it's definitely one of those things I want to check out.
Yeah, so. it's worth checking out. I always like seeing other comic stores. I feel like I went to quite a few early when I started working, started running the store. Get some ideas and kind of see what other stores were like. And I see a few online where I'm just like, well, that store looks amazing. I mean, there are bigger stores in Midtown. He actually, let me get back to the question here. Norman actually asked, have you been to Mile High's flagship store in Denver? They claim it's the world's largest comic store. I'm going to guess it's not. There's some stores in Japan that I'm sure just blow it out of the water. And there's some stores like in Florida and Texas that are just fucking monstrous.
Yeah.
I know some people that have been to the main Mile High store, and they were
not impressed.
Very unimpressed. Let's just leave it at that. So, but again, I've never been. I don't want to say anything. I no opinion on my own. But again, I think
that basically it's West Coast.
I mean, they have a couple locations, yeah. Well, they have 1 or 2 locations. All their other locations are like franchises. So there's a bunch of Mile Highs, but they're not actually the same company. I don't know what to deal with Mile High is anymore. I mean, they sell a lot of stuff online. Mm-hmm. They kind of always have, but they have like a very old website. Maybe they're on a lot of eBay now. I'm not sure what Mile High is doing.
Could be.
But they have they have a huge warehouse of a couple million comics, so they're picking up big collections. I don't know how much these days, but I would assume they still are. A lot of comic stuff in New York. Clearly, Marvel's there and a lot of the creators. I actually did try to go I talked to my rep at Marvel and said, "Hey, going to be in town. You know,
can I get a tour?"
I mean, it was funny because they were, DC's offices are like something you could tour.
Yeah,
Marvel is literally it's a
P.O. box?
part of a floor in an old building, and there's some desks, right? I mean, it's not like, but it'd still be cool to go to, right?
Like, I want to meet the secretary.
Well, they were almost everyone in the office was at the
Diamond Summit in Las Vegas.
Yeah, the retailer meeting in Vegas. So it was like, oh, I come that way, and they're all out this way. So they all got back Monday, the day I left. So what are you going to do? It would have been nice to see Marvel. And I've been to DC twice?
Yeah, you need to start taking your friends.
I'd like to go again because now DC, it's all done, right? DC has their...
They finished the offices and stuff?
Well, their office was done. Their comic stuff was done, but they now have like another floor with all the DC film stuff and DC Entertainment, and so it's all together. So I would love to go see that new store. Or they'll see that stuff too.
The new office.
Yeah. But yeah, no, New York's cool. Oh yeah, hot as balls when I left, and it was freezing cold and raining when I got back here, which is very unusual. So,
there's no global warming, by the way.
Yeah, global Wawa.
I like that. Global Wawa?
Yeah, Futurama. None like it hot. That was my joke this morning. We're gonna have some questions up. Or sorry, some questions. We'll do that later. We're gonna have some news stories. Always sad when you hear about comic creators passing, especially sad when they're very young. The longtime colorist for Marvel and actually originally started at Wildstorm, Justin Ponsor. I think how did he sign his name? It was like J-PO. That was kind of his kind of like his signature. Died on Saturday, May 18th, age of 42, with a 2-year battle with cancer. So he worked on tons of, I don't want to say everything in Marvel, but he worked on a lot of Marvel stuff since 2004. 2005. So very long time. Avengers 19, which comes out this week, is his last book. Wow. And I'm not going to claim to be the world's most knowledgeable person when it comes to colorists and letterers and
inkers and
they definitely don't get quite the attention they deserve.
I'm just having that scene in Chasing Amy flash through my head. Fucking inker. You fucking tracer.
Yeah. But these guys do obviously writing and art's great, but I've seen some artists that do very little of the actual printed art.
Yeah. Where
the colorists and the inkers do most of the detail and most of the work. Black and white's cool, but we didn't quite have the books won't look quite the same without the coloring and the inking. So, yeah.
Yes. I mean, the transformation from just black and white sketches to inks to just colors is fantastic, and the work that gets put into it is just it's intense. So it's sad to hear, especially at that age, somebody just passing in the industries.
Yeah, very sad. So I started in 95, 2 years older than me, 93. So we would have been like 14, 15 years old or something when he's just working as a penciler. That's crazy young. Yeah. So always very sad. Speaking of, we'll keep on Wildstorm here for a second. And Image. We're
doing sad news, or are we doing some hopefully more upbeat news?
Yeah, no more sad news for today. We finally got solicitations. So DC, I don't know if Marvel hit. I might have missed Marvel. I haven't. Trust me, I haven't. We were so busy.
When you get back from vacation, you're out of it for like a week.
I put together some notes for this like 10 minutes before recording. Like I was like, oh, I get to read the news from the past week. I haven't seen anything.
We watched trailers before.
Yeah. We'll talk about those in a little bit. I actually barely saw any of the news. I saw some of the Comics Pro stuff out of the retailer meeting because they had their own.
They have their own like panel thing.
Yeah, Comics Pro. They have their own part of the Diamond.
Have you ever been to the retail summit?
I love comic books. I love selling comic books. I love the store. I love the customers. I love the industry.
Oh, man. This is why you sent me to Image Expo, isn't it?
I just don't.
You don't like dealing with people.
No, it's not that. I don't mind conventions.
Give me a break. If you could just say, leave the money on the counter and get out.
Yeah, it's not that. What am I going to do at a retailer? I got nothing going at a retailer convention.
You have to go
It's a conference. It's a work conference.
Yeah. You'd have to go with, people.
I'll go John from Big Bang. We'll all get drunk and just go hang out in Vegas and just do nothing and be like, oh, yeah, I guess that thing was happening, too. Get my free comics and leave. Go watch Game of Thrones. Yeah, I don't. Look, I'm not going to knock it. People put on, it's a ton of hard work, and these people put on, and obviously plenty of people get a lot out of it. I don't know. It's fourth bound path, man.
Gotta pound that pavement network, man.
Yeah, I guess. I'm just not into that. I'm not into that. It's different when we had the DC retailer meetings. It's because that was going to DC's offices and hearing directly from the publishers. That's cool. At the retailer meetings, like Comics Pro, you're hearing from them as part of a large group.
You're having it's basically a panel. It's a massive panel where they're just kind of info dumping you, and they're not info dumping you as much as necessarily they would if you went directly to their offices. Reading some of
the talks from the conference, it's here's what's in previews next month. What the fuck? I don't need to fly to Vegas to hear that, right?
Well, is there stuff
the New 52 and Rebirth? No, the Rebirth. It was right prior to Rebirth. Especially that very first New 52 retailer conference. It was we're going to sit down and really explain this stuff to you and really have a discussion about it. And some of it was, here's the solicitation info, right? But there was way more to it than that.
Well, yeah, because I think before, it was the one before that the New 52 came out.
No, that's the first one.
That was the first
one.
That
was right, the one that was the announcement of New 52 was the first one.
Oh, that's the first ever? I thought they'd been doing it longer.
No. Oh. And they haven't done many since. They haven't done them in years now at this point, so they don't do them anymore. But they have stuff online where they talk to us.
Now, do they bring in any vendors to sell you shelving or
no? Well, at the retailer one, probably. Yeah, I'm sure they have a lot of distributors in there. And I guess if you're a new store and you don't really know what to do, or you want to network and you want to get some advice, I'm sure it's great. I don't really need that, but maybe if I was running a panel, that'd be one thing. I don't know if anyone wants to hear that.
I don't know. 402 episodes and people still listen to us. You might want to listen to you.
Some people. But I just to me, it's yeah.
You're going to sleep in a hotel bed, and
I got no problem with that. I know the people I know, and I know the stuff I know, and I find them on I'll say the opposite, but I definitely feel like I look at things a little different than a lot of retailers, and so on the retailer forum especially, I'm always like, really? That's your problem? That's what you're going to bat for? All right, I guess. Here's a real problem. Oh, nobody cares. Okay, well, whatever, guys. And I don't say, again, I don't feel, it's not pointless or useless. I get a lot out of this stuff. I don't know.
Well, you're constantly...
I just hang out and be like, yeah, okay, I know this.
Well, you're constantly online, discussing stuff with retailers and... Yeah. And so it's why do I need to go to a convention?
And I'm also it's a lot of work. It's a better part of a week that you're out there doing this stuff. And I'm I could also be working at the store or going to New York. So, but something that we did get solicitation info for. And
Marvel or DC?
And neither. This is for the legendary only. I don't say only. Maybe it will be.
Maybe if you'd gone to the retailer summit, you would have gotten more information.
No. Spawn number 300.
Oh God.
should after 301 surpass Cerebus for the longest running
independent title, right?
Creator-owned title in American comics.
Okay.
So Spawn 300 is going to be 72 pages long. Greg Capullo is coming back to do some artwork. Scott Snyder is going to be co-writing part of it. Todd McFarlane himself will do interior art, which is the first time since 1995 that he's done interior stuff.
Shit.
J. Scott Campbell, Jerome Pena, Scott Snyder's.
I guess I might have to bite the bullet and buy a issue of Spawn off the shelf.
So it is funny that 298, 299, and 300 are Amazing Spider-Man 298, 299, and 300 homage covers. I would put those as variants. I'm kind of the same thing. It's cute, but I feel like you're kind of if you're Tom McFarlane, you're kind of selling yourself a little short. Do your own thing and then have that be the funny wink, wink, nudge, nudge variant. But, whatever. That's cool, I guess. I mean, whatever. It's his book. You can do whatever he wants. First time Capullo's worked on the book since issue 100, which was his last. Because Greg Capullo, that was his big break. That's where he started.
Yeah, that's where he started. He picked up
big run on Spawn.
He picked up after McFarlane.
I don't remember
just after McFarlane. It was him and some other guy. I can't remember.
There were other people who were doing it in between, but
he was part of that crew.
Capullo had a good run on Spawn,
and then once he picked it up, he had a really solid run on it for a long time. He had done so much Spawn at that point that people thought he was the artist, the Spawn artist versus McFarlane.
Yeah, well, McFarlane has, other than covers, he's drawn so little Spawn.
Yeah,
so. I obviously haven't read Spawn in forever. They'd be very smart to make Spawn 300 a
jumping on point.
A good point for new readers as well as
Scott, make it so.
Well, long time readers will, I'm sure, get a continuation or a big launch of a new story, and then I'm hoping that new readers will jump on and get something out of it. So,
well, with Scott penning, I'm like, I'll actually pick up a copy.
Spawn 300 is due on October 29th. Well, if you have 12 covers for $7.99.
Oh, God.
Comics. Gotta love it. Speaking of covers,
shit.
Holy man. So, DC Comics having Year of the Villains, a summer non-event that's coming out this year, right? Basically, Lex Luthor.
Heroes are going to get their asses
whooped. Lex Luthor in the Free Comic Day book, right?
Yes.
They said Lex was like, every major villain, who's your daddy? Let's go, right? Uh-huh. And he's leading Perpetua. He sacrificed himself to become something different and to sort of power Perpetua to the mother god creation of the universe. Hey, you're giving me this look. You read the book?
Yeah, I've read the book.
Yeah. So
that's the one part I'm like, okay.
The mother of the Monitor, the Anti-Monitor, and the Forger of Worlds.
Yeah. No, I like it. It's great. Scott Snyder's been doing a fantastic job with it. I'm just like,
it's a big story.
It's a big story.
Yeah. See where they
go. But he's basically giving every villain the means to take out their main adversary, their main hero.
Yep. So again, this is not a event where you have to read every book.
No.
Someone had asked me about this on Twitter, and I tweeted it out, and I tagged Scott Snyder in the post, and I'm sure Scott can answer more, but this is what I'm getting out of it. And he actually retweeted me and said, "Yep, it's exactly right. You don't have to read anything other than Justice League if you just want the main Year of the Villain. If you're reading Harley Quinn or you're reading Justice League Dark, you don't have to read any other book. Your story is complete through that book. Yeah. It's just they're highlighting the villains in August. They're going to have those full-faced villain front covers that are going to be the higher price point with the cardstock cover. But the new piece of information just got is the themed cover that every standard book is going to have that month, which is they're fucking awesome. Did you go through all those covers?
I haven't gotten a chance to yet.
So go look up the Year of the Villain covers if you want to look
I'll look it up
on the group. I posted a link from CBR.
Well, I'm going to look it up so I'm on the same page as you.
Yeah. So it's all the different major titles, right? So every major title from DC through the month of August. They all say Year of the Villain.
CBR.
Year of the Villain battle damage logo covers if you want to look it up.
Okay.
They all have
on
them.
Newsarama.
Yeah. So basically, every villain is given a gift by Luthor to beat their hero, and it's titled Year of the Villain Dark Gifts. And the covers are the heroes getting their fucking asses kicked by their major villain, and the the logo of the book being kind of destroyed or torn or ripped or smashed or frozen. And they're really cool covers.
God damn it.
They're very, very cool covers. And they've got some of their big artists doing these covers. Covers are important to comics, right? And these books are really going to stand out. So I always like it when they play with cool cover design. Some of these books, they all have like the logos getting smashed. Lobo's
that Batman one is awesome.
Yeah, the Batman one with bands, great. Yeah, Lobo's cutting through the Teen Titans logo.
That's the Catwoman one. That's not the Catwoman.
No, the Catwoman. That's the variant. That Artgerm's doing a DC animated
one.
Yeah.
Deathstroke's pretty interesting. I like Detective Comics.
Bizarro is taking the Terrifics logo and smashing people with it, right? There's a big giant claw smashing through the Wonder Woman logo. So
who is that villain for Hawkman?
Great cover. I think it's Shadow Thief.
Okay, Shadow Thief.
Great
Starro
covers.
on Justice League.
Yeah. So you guys got to go check these covers out if you haven't seen it.
They're pretty cool.
So, man, people collect covers just like they collect comics to read, and this is going to be no different. Those covers are sweet.
Are you going to do sets?
No. Comic Hub is kind of... I don't need to do sets anymore.
Yeah.
Because of Comic Hub. So...
No, those are pretty good covers.
Yeah, they're really neat. So I highly recommend you check those books out. August previews comes out, should be next week, and
the DC previews, the slits are already up.
Slits are up, but the actual order form is next week, which means pre-orders for everything will start going up next week. Should be Wednesday next week. And if you want to order these covers or the standard cover or the
that Flash one, though.
The Flash one's awesome. The cardstock covers for the variants.
So the variants are going to be the faces. These are the regular things.
Yep. And the variants.
The Catwoman is the only one that doesn't have that cover because it's not done yet,
I guess. Well, no, the Catwoman variant we've seen that might be the cover. It might be her breaking. It's just going to have the Catwoman or the Artgerm one might be the main because I don't remember who's doing that. We've seen the variant cover for Catwoman. I guess that's right. I guess it is the main cover. So she might be smashing the logo or something because
no, I mean there's
no logo on it. Right, they're not done.
Yeah, it's
the face cover, I don't remember who it is, but we've already seen the variant for Catwoman. So
yeah,
we'll get a full cover for Catwoman soon. But definitely cool covers, and
those are definitely ones that if you're not picking up a series, you might be tempted to grab.
Well, and it is a return of a lot of big villains we haven't seen in a while.
Lobo was on Teen Titans.
Yeah, Ra's al Ghul's and Batman and the Outsiders. And again, this isn't like they're just coming out of nowhere. These are continuing the plots of the main titles, so it's not just like a random one-off nothing issue. But it is going to heavily focus the major villains of some of these.
Well, and the thing is,
characters.
I'm excited for this event because DC's not pushing it as DC's just saying it's the year of the villain, right? We're just going to go with the year of the villain.
Yep.
And the whole concept is something that is an editorial concept. It's not you have to adhere to Scott's story and tie into his story. You're going to tell your own year of the villain story within your own book. And I think that works a lot better kind of as like you said, a non-event event.
Yeah. So you could follow as much as you want. You could follow nothing, and it's money. It's money. Jesus, it's so funny.
Much money for you.
It's
so much
funny,
money.
Because Marvel is doing something. A bunch of their annuals are going to be with Acts of Evil. So that's what that ended up being. They're going to have a bunch of these big hero versus big villain annuals, which is cool. It's just always funny when the companies do very similar things at the same time. But yeah, we're really looking forward to those. Those covers look really great. And
a company bites off another company and does 1,000.
Those should be up for pre-order pretty soon. We're going to move over to some TV movie talk here for a tad. Then we'll get some questions. Lots of random stuff happened over the last few weeks. I'm going to save the big one for last. But Deathstroke is getting an animated series on CW Seed, which are the short animated ones. They generally run to be about an hour, maybe 45 minutes or an hour total.
Oh, okay.
They had the Ray, they had Vixen, and now they're doing a Deathstroke one. They haven't said if they're going to have...
animated serials.
Yeah, Manu Bennett, who played Deathstroke on Arrow. They're unsure if they're going to have him do the voice. That hasn't been reported yet. But because the actress that played Vixen, she did play
Vixen in the cartoon.
In the cartoon,
yes.
yeah. The original one.
Arrow.
Before they had the grandmother.
The daughter?
It's grandmother or great grandmother.
Oh God, what's her name from Legends?
Yeah.
Fuck. Why am I blanking on her name?
Vixen.
No, it's not Vixen. We have to know this. God, what's his name? Shacked up with her so much, and he's like so hung up on her.
Yeah, I know.
Well, we're the worst.
That's all right. So that I'm looking forward to that. Really looking forward to that. I haven't actually watched the Ray one.
So you watched the Vixen one?
Yeah, I watched Vixen. Vixen was okay because Flash and Arrow were in it too. They had, they're actually played by the actors, and they had a bunch of the people from the show, so that was really neat.
Amaya.
That's right.
Oh, Gideon's so hot.
Real Gideon?
Real Gideon is so hot.
Yeah, that is a thing. But God, man, speaking of which,
I tried to add something while you were typing.
No, it's fine. I have to catch up. I am the finales of all the CW shows are just happening right now, and I haven't just seen the finale basically. So I'm so close. So I'm going to hopefully get caught up with everything this week.
Well, and everything's supposed to lead into Crisis.
Yeah, and
I've literally almost starting.
I don't want to hear about it because I've already seen some stuff that there's a lot of big surprises in these last episodes, and a couple have already aired. So I'm like, no, don't look. So hopefully
that's
next
all right.
week.
I got spoiled that chick plays the future cicada. Thanks, guys.
Oh,
Thanks.
What? It's like half the season. like that's different.
I'm not caught up.
There's multiple cicadas.
I'm not caught up on my CW shows and my Walking Dead because I did the Game of Thrones rewatch and the Marvel movie rewatch beforehand, so that sucked all my time.
Yeah.
And then Bosch season 5 came out, which you seriously need to watch Bosch. It's so good.
Is it a superhero show?
Huh?
Is it a superhero show?
LAPD detective?
No,
fucking superhero right there.
You've lost me.
That's a real superhero right there.
You lost me. I was going to say, the CW shows are just about done, so that means I have time to catch up for the more stuff, except we have Swamp Thing coming out.
You have to finish Doom Patrol.
And I still have to finish Doom Patrol, and Krypton starts very soon.
Doom Patrol, though?
Oh,
holy
shit.
Good. That show is phenomenal. That's probably my favorite comic book show on air right now.
I love it. I've seen the first 6 or 7. So I'm about halfway through.
I think I'm up to 10 or 11.
Yeah, because I think 15's on this week. I think the final
episode's this week. But, oh my God.
No, it's great. I love it.
It's so weird. So good.
Well, there's at least one more superhero show we don't have to worry about, and I'm very sorry that Charlie isn't here, although maybe it's better that he's not here, because The Tick has been canceled. Amazon is not going through the 3rd season of The Tick. They were very, very short seasons.
No, because Amazon's going to go full bore with The Boys.
Man, The Boys is going to be brutal. I'll at least watch an episode or two.
I'll watch an episode and check it out. But
yeah.
Honestly, I enjoyed the comics up until a certain point. There was just a certain point where I was just like, I can't deal with where you're trying to push this every single time.
I love a lot of early Garth Ennis stuff and middle Garth Ennis stuff. I haven't followed any of his The Boys and on. Basically, I feel like that's where I really kind of lost it. So maybe that's all early Garth Ennis stuff I like. I haven't really stuck with any of his current stuff, but I do like him quite a bit, and I'm willing to read. Check out at least kind of everything he does at least once.
Yeah. But yeah, no, we'll see.
But
Boys.
Tick, unfortunately, Tick is ending, so that's one more show down.
Arrow's ending.
They've tried Tick so many times, a couple different formats, live action, this cartoon. It's so quirky, and I like it, but I don't know. I kind of think it's
The Tick has a certain audience.
It does,
and that audience's name is Charlie.
Yeah,
and we love.
It's good
Charlie.
that Ben Edlund keeps trying, but. I don't know. I don't know how many times you need to do the Tick. Yeah. I think it's just something that's just a lot of people aren't going to get into. But the cartoon's amazing, so it was all worth it. The cartoon's fucking incredible. Now, there's I hear Craig P. Anderson getting ready to write an angry email. Okay, at CraigPAnderson.com.
No, it's from CraigPAnderson.com. Craig at CraigPAnderson.com.
There's a movie called Iron Man.
I just gave this thing out.
There's a movie called Iron Man 3 that I know me and you are not particularly fans of.
Oh, my God.
It's literally, I got to Iron Man 3 on my Marvel rewatch and went,
You can't do it.
Soon. I'll come back to you.
You can't do it.
So, the Mandarin in that movie, personally, one of the worst reveals in all of the MCU, one of the worst characters, the worst takes, the worst plots, terrible from start to finish. Well, let me phrase that. Terrible from reveal to finish, because great start. It was awesome. The original
the
45 minutes.
The actual concept of the Mandarin was amazing in that movie. Like, you're like, okay, we're going to get the Mandarin.
He's fucking...
He might not have the rings, but there's that terrorist aspect to it.
So in the original Iron Man movie, right, the guy's got the ring. The plot that's never really explained, but they've talked about it in background books and everything, is that the 10 rings of the Mandarin are like these 10 terrorist
groups,
organizations or groups of bad guys. So there's 10 different groups.
Yeah.
Totally makes sense, right? I don't need Fu Manchu, magic, crazy flying around Mandarin. Like, this is a great take on the Mandarin.
This is a good take on the Mandarin.
Completely ruined in Iron Man 3. They have that one shot called All Hail the King, which came out, I think it was on the Thor Dark World Blu-ray and DVD.
I don't know if I watched that one.
So that's the one where he's in jail, and they discover that there is a real
Mandarin
10 Rings group and a real Mandarin. So on a Ask Him AMA, which, Ask Me Anything, right? On Reddit, Kevin Feige was asked, are there any plans to incorporate the 10 rings from the first Iron Man or the real Mandarin teased in the future? And his answer, yes. So I would love a real Mandarin story.
No, I would too.
With again, this take on the Mandarin. To me, you just completely just brush off all that fake Mandarin. Don't even mention it again, right? Just move on with the real Mandarin. Now we have Falcon and Winter Soldier, which would be it's going to be Captain America and the Winter Soldier, right? I think when it actually comes out, when the movie actually comes out, that's what. Or
no, they had plenty of time from when he left and came back with the shield, right?
When the show
do that in that.
I'll kill you. When the show, it'll be called Captain America and the Winter Soldier, and there's a Hawkeye show, right? So there's a couple of these shows that would be a great fit. I mean, obviously, Mandarin's traditionally an Iron Man villain, but Cap and Winter Soldier going up against him makes total sense, especially if it's like a terrorist organization. So I would love a real redo on that Mandarin and do a real take, because what a waste of a great character. Again, his kind of super racist origins aside, they've done good things with him in beyond the real early Mandarin stories. So the Mandarin's a cool villain. Obviously, one of Iron Man's biggest villains, and it makes sense they keep doing something with him. So very excited. I hope they do more with him going forward. Now we saw some trailers.
Yes,
which I had missed, apparently, that Swamp Thing trailer.
You missed the Swamp Thing trailer and the Batwoman drop.
Well, Batwoman, I was gone. And the Swamp Thing trailer, we saw that original teaser, but there was actually a bigger trailer that came out a couple weeks back that I somehow totally missed. You're not feeling that Swamp Thing trailer?
No,
what's
I'm
up?
Not feeling it's the whole horror angle that they're going for.
Yeah,
I understand.
Yeah,
but I think it's one of those things where. And I talked about this over the weekend with some people, with some customers, in that Swamp Things, everyone's like, oh, Alan Moore's Swamp Thing is like the thing, and it's like, no, it's not really the thing for me. I enjoy it. It's good. It established kind of the basis for the Swamp Thing that I really enjoy, which is the Snyder Soul Swamp Thing stuff.
Now, I mean, that's fine. You could like that, but they really are just doing I don't say a riff on Alan Moore's stuff.
It's kind of like they're trying to.
You can like the cover. You can like the cover more than the original. That's okay, but Alan Moore's Swamp Thing is the redefining of the character.
No, like and again, it's
the
I think it's
permanent version.
I think that early stuff, right? That early stuff that he did that kind of reconnected everyone to who Swamp Thing was and established Swamp Thing. And I like that stuff. But the Swamp Thing that Alan Moore wrote kept getting interrupted all the time by whatever was going on with DC at the time. So there's a lot of stuff that just ends up getting like what? Batman and what was that?
In Alan Moore's?
Yeah.
Alan Moore's Swamp Thing doesn't get interrupted once. Maybe there was was there a Crisis crossover
there was a Crisis
issue?
crossover
but no,
issue,
no, he did his own story start to finish.
So
it doesn't
towards the end, like there's it cuts it there, and then there's that weird space stuff.
Huh?
I didn't like the space stuff.
What space? You're very weird. Anyway, I don't think they're going to do any of that in this show because they're not going to fucking cross over with Adam Strange and Phantom Stranger in this probably and Demon. Although that'd be fucking amazing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm like, if they're setting up Swamp Thing, if they use Swamp Thing to set up kind of, yes, it's dark and they're going for look, but the same thing is the Titans trailer that we got was complete and utter garbage and didn't establish anything like what the show is going to be.
Right.
And so the thing is like I'm hoping that.
Well, that's one thing. Trailer to me is like episode 1 trailer.
Yeah,
like that's all that is.
But it's one of those. Things
it's
where,
his
like,
origin.
I want kind of a combination of like Alan Moore's stuff and kind of the stuff that we got from Snyder and Soult.
But again, it's the same thing. It's you can't have a combination when you have two things that are basically the same thing.
But the Soul and the Snyder stuff took it somewhere else. Like
sure.
It expanded more on like the gray and the red and all that stuff.
Sure, yeah.
I like that aspect of it.
I can see them dealing with that. Yeah.
I'm curious if they bring that stuff into it, because there's a lot of. Because shit, if they do that, we're gonna get Animal Man on fucking Swamp Thing.
That'd be awesome. But again, a lot of these elements. All of these elements we're in more Swamp Thing. So
yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like
it is going to draw from House of Mystery. It's going to draw from your first appearance, and it's going to draw. I mean, some of that Bernie Wrightson stuff in the '70s. I mean, the art's amazing, the stories are good, but I think it's going to take bits and pieces of everything because this seems Alan Moore's Swamp Thing was not a straight horror book.
No, it had. It like the art style had added a lot of horror elements to it.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of just kind of scary things happening, like with especially certain villains.
Yeah, Arcane obviously is the big one, but to me, it is horror to a degree, but it still has like a lot of the early Sandman issues. It still has a lot of the superhero stuff kind of in the background, which I love it when they do that.
Oh hell, what if they got Matt Ryan and Constantine to come into the show?
Well, I've said day one, like it doesn't have to be a CW show. It doesn't have to cross over with them, but I totally want Swamp Thing. I totally want Matt Ryan, Constantine, and Swamp Thing. Because he must play this character for the rest of his life. I'm sorry, this Ryan. Is your curse, but you must play this character for the rest of your life. No, I think they're going to take the real horror elements from the original. They'll take some of the Alan Moore.
Well, and the thing is it could be that's just the angle that the trailer
is
going for, right? And it could be something that's completely
no.
It has horror elements to it, but it's not a horror. It's not full blown horror because I don't think that
it's gonna be. Which I'm 100% down for. I'm not a big horror guy.
I hope you get this shit scared out of you.
I'm not a big
wear your brown pants when you watch it.
I'm not a big horror fan, but I fucking love Swamp Thing, so I
love Swamp Thing. I'm gonna watch it.
Down with this. Watch the Batwoman trailer, which the full.
The next thing was the Bat.
They
dropped the full one while you were gone.
Full trailer. Yeah, she looks great. I'm really excited, and this is going to take place a little before she shows up on Arrow as part of the crossover. So again, probably this is all from the first episode. Her getting the costume. We get to see the Wayne Tower Batcave, which he's had various Batcaves other than his main cave. I like the suit. She looks fantastic. I mean, she looked fantastic in Arrow too. I think she looks great in this. So Alice looks really neat. Her sister.
I mean, the guy that got to play her dad looks perfect.
Yeah. We'll see where they go with the show.
The change, they're crows, whatever works for me.
Yeah. What were they in the?
They were like it was. He did Batman's.
But what was it?
I think it was he. Eventually went towards bats.
Was it?
Yeah.
The dad, right? Like his army.
His army of Batman.
Yeah, but
that was that was established in Batwoman, and it went full bore in the Rebirth Detective.
Yeah, but I'm trying to remember. For some reason, I thought it was something else. But anyway,
I mean, it looks great. I mean, the subtle little explanation of why there's red hair on the cost, like the helmet, is perfect. That you got that from the trailer.
Oh, I just heard. She's like, she basically takes Batman's suit and is like, fix this for me.
Yeah, and then it's like, look, Batman's still around. It's like, no, I'm a woman, damn it. So she has the hair put on the because I will say this, without the hair, that cowl like that.
Well, you can't tell.
It's really big on her. Like, it makes her head look really big.
Yeah. I mean, and you're not going to be able to tell what's underneath. So, it was really good.
No, I'm excited. I'm excited to see Batwoman. I'm curious to see what aspects they bring into Batwoman.
Yep.
Like if they're going to kind of dive into giving us things like...
I assume Alice will be like the season 1 villain, her sister, and then they'll go on
But I'm curious if we're going to get maybe Renee Montoya, if we're going to get some GCPD.
Well, I don't know what they're going to do with that because she was in Supergirl, but it's different continuity. They could have a different actress and just not worry about it. So, I don't know.
Because, that brings us to the question could possibly come into this.
Yeah.
So... there's a lot of stuff. Kate Spencer could show up in this.
Oh, I love that. The lady that plays Kate Spencer in Arrow, she's a little bit older, and they never portray her.
But they never portray her as Manhunter.
No,
and but I think that this.
But they could have like another Manhunter or something.
Yeah, I think that would be a really good thing, especially.
And they could bring in Barbara. They could bring in Gordon. Jim Gordon. Yeah. They could bring in any of the GCPD people. So lots of opportunity there, obviously, in a Batwoman show. And I'm sure eventually Batman will show up. They'll do something with him for a couple episodes, but no time soon. They cast one of the guys from
Twilight.
No, we'll get to that. It's fucking one of the guys from Game of Thrones.
As Batman?
Yeah. Let's see if I can find his name. I can't remember.
Is he alive or dead?
Well, he's gone, right?
In Game of Thrones?
No. Well, I mean, they're all dead in Game of Thrones, right? Almost everyone.
Spoiler.
Not a spoiler. God, who is it? I'm totally blanking. It doesn't matter. Anyway, I thought I had read that they were gonna cast Batman for the Batwoman show. It's like a flashback or something like that, but. Maybe I'm making this up. Anyway, let's move on. Spoiled it though. Talk about Batman and the big screen. Now this came up from Variety, exclusive from Variety. They are claiming that Robert Pattinson is going to be playing Batman for the Matt Reeves Batman early days. I don't think origin, but early day movie. Obviously, a lot of people know him from Twilight. Mm-hmm. And that seems to be the extent of the anger that people have online for them casting him. Now, look, I saw the very first Twilight movie, and it was absolutely terrible.
You did that to yourself.
I did. It was absolutely terrible. And I've never seen anything else Robert Pattinson has been in. However, I will go by what movie buffs I know have said, and that is if you're judging a guy on his first acting role or his first major acting role, maybe you shouldn't do that because he's apparently starred in multiple highly critically
acclaimed films.
Independent films, smaller films, some really good stuff. He's clearly grown. Not that he wasn't a good actor in Twilight. It was just a bad movie. You can have great actors in bad movies. It happens all the time. Yeah. Whatever. I mean, good for him. The dude made a shitload of money. when he was young in Twilight. Like, congratulations. Like,
well, the thing is he made a shit ton of money in Twilight, which gave him the ability to say, you know what, I want to do the projects I want to do.
Yeah,
I don't want to. Yeah. I don't need to work for a paycheck because I'm already doing this. And stepping into the role of Bruce Wayne, because he's stepping into the role of Bruce Wayne and the role of Batman. So,
and even if you look at Twilight, he's a brooding pretty boy. It's also Bruce Wayne. Yeah, right. It's the same role.
Well, they're going younger for this Bruce Wayne, so
and it makes sense, especially if they're like, we need someone that we can have for 10 years, 12 years, handful of movies. So,
let's get yoked.
Look, if you've seen every movie this guy does and you hate him, then cool. But if you've never even watched Twilight, but you hate Twilight because you just have to hate stuff, and you think he's a bad actor because of that, then fuck off. Like, I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah, people.
If the movie comes out and he sucks in it, then, well, I guess you were right. But I get the feeling he's a good actor and he's done a lot of really critically acclaimed stuff. And
the thing is, if you look at the look, he's got the jawline, he's got that playboy look to him, like.
I can't believe they cast the guy from Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place to play Deadpool. What a weird. Why would they ever do that?
Two Guys, Girls, and a Pizza Place?
Yeah, you ever watched Two Guys and a Girl and a Pizza Place? Ryan Reynolds.
You mean Waiting?
Huh?
Van Wilder.
Is that
I can't believe they cast Van Wilder as Deadpool. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. It makes no sense, right? Yeah. Two Guys and a Girl and a Pizza Place. You ever watch that?
He was on that show?
Yes, he's the main character on that show. When 30 years ago, when he was like a teenager, when he was like 20 years old.
I didn't even watch that show.
It's not 30, it's like 20 something years. But that's what I mean, right? It's like, guess what? Lots of really good actors are in lots of not great stuff when they start, and they go on to do really good stuff later. So
the thing is and it's coming from people saying Twilight was horrible. I'm like, Twilight made a shit fuck ton of money.
There's a great article. It was Hard Drive or Onion. I can't remember which one, but it was middle-aged guys still super mad over movie for teenage girls. It's like, just fucking, why do you care? Yeah.
Well, this is the thing is like, I'm
sure I dunked on Twilight when it came out, but now it's like, whatever, it's a movie. It's not for me.
Oh, God, I made fun of you for watching that garbage because you were like, I have to watch it because
I have to get halfway through the third movie.
80s thing is in it.
Because my man Peter Murphy is in it for 5 seconds.
And I'm like, just YouTube that
and I
scene.
need the context for the 2.5 movies prior to it. So I tried. It's a really bad movie. But also, guess what? I'm not a 12-year-old girl, so it probably wasn't made for me. No. And that's the end of it. And so...
if my daughter picks up a copy of Twilight when she's older and reads it, I'm going to be like, great, honey. Daddy's not going to read it with you.
Yeah.
But you want to read Batwoman together? Like, we can book club that.
The script's going. We're supposed to get an official announcement any day of this. So this is not official, right? He has not officially been cast.
No, this is a. I think the feelers are out, and he is not agreed.
Well, this is Variety saying it is done. It is just we have no official comment yet. So that means we will very soon be getting the official announcement for this.
Do you also remember when the internet and everyone threw a fit about? A young kind of 20-something actor who was in, a remake of a Shakespeare movie for a modernization and this fantasy movie that had a bunch of rock music in it. And they just threw a hissy fit that how could he play the Joker?
Oh, I thought you were going to say, you mean gay cowboy?
And that too.
That's where the actual anger came from, was the gay cowboy part. He thought they did a pretty damn good job. And, again, they cast Mr. Mom as Batman, and, he did okay.
It's funny when they, certain actors, like you look at Michael Keaton in probably one of the best Batman roles.
He's good.
Period, right?
His Batman, I can kind of take or leave. His Bruce Wayne, I love.
Yeah, his Bruce Wayne is great.
Yeah.
But again, he could only work with what he could turn his head towards, right?
But Well, I mean, again, I have no problem with his Batman. Like I said, I don't dislike it at all. But his kind of brainless, aloof Bruce Wayne. I mean, obviously, it's an act, right? But I mean, I loved it.
Well, the scope of his Bruce Wayne was really well done, and you saw it in his aloof moments. You saw it in his thinking detective moment. Like, he pulled the thinking detective moments.
Yeah, he would.
The scene with Jack Nicholson and Joker, and he goes, "Let's get crazy."
Yeah, I love
You're
that.
just like, my fucking God, this is amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then you know, George Clooney, hey, big name actor, puts on a batsuit.
Yeah.
Who fuck cares?
Yeah. Oh, again, not a great movie. So I think, again, George Clooney, perfect Bruce Wayne. Batman, it's all right. It's fine. All right, we got some questions. We obviously will, hopefully in a year or two.
We're not going to talk a little bit about the big TV news that happened on Sunday?
Hopefully in a little bit we'll also be talking about a Batman movie. What TV news happened on Sunday? Game of Thrones? Yeah. No. It's not the Game of Thrones podcast. That's tomorrow night on the Geek Box is the Game of Thrones wrap-up finale. If you want to hear all about that, check out Geek Box this week. We're recording late.
I'm not going to be on there.
No. We have some questions. A question from Dave on Twitter.
On Twitter.
This is an endgame question. He says, why was Tony Stark so curious about how far along his mother was? Is he not really a Stark? No, I didn't read anything weird like that. I just took it as he was wondering, what year is it?
You mean when he went back to the past to talk to
his dad?
It's a casual thing that you ask somebody who's expecting a child. Like, it's not. It's part of a normal conversation. Like, you find out somebody's pregnant and you go, well, how far along is she? It's not, I know this information. I can't. It's just it's a natural flowing piece of conversation.
Yeah, I didn't read any
there's
weird.
There's nothing weird about it.
Yeah, I didn't read any weird things out of that conversation.
There's a lot of other weird stuff in Endgame, but we're not going to get into it.
But yeah, I don't think there's anything in there. LB says, big three aside, Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. If you could move any hero from the DC universe to the MCU, who would it be? Green Lantern is my choice. That's what he says.
Move somebody from
DC to Marvel.
That's like torturing the character.
Who goes from DC to Marvel? It's a good question.
Oh God!
I mean, we talked about this.
You know who could go over there? And I wouldn't shed a goddamn tear. Send that fucking Superboy Prime bitch.
You son of a bitch. We talked about this years ago. There was a rumor going around forever. This is back like the Wizard Magazine days. That at the end of Marvel vs. DC, they were going to
switch like two characters,
Green Lantern and Iron Man.
Yeah.
Which how funny that would have been with kind of Green Lantern. Kind of was like kickstarted a lot of the DC movies. Didn't do good, but it sort of was the start of it.
It attempted to kickstart and failed.
And obviously Iron Man.
Iron Man kickstarted a lot.
Yeah. Man, who does go over? Who would work well if you brought them from the DC universe to the Marvel universe and left them there? Because I mean, there's so many there's so many characters that have counterpoints, right? So Green Arrow wouldn't work because you already have Hawkeye. Aquaman wouldn't work because you already have Namor. A lot of these characters would be duplicates. I don't know. I mean, the closest Green Lantern you have is the Nova Corps. That's sort of the equivalent.
Yeah.
But Green Lantern is very much its own thing. Oh. I mean, I think it.
You know who I would send over, and just because I want to see what happened, like the chaos that would ensue.
What's that?
Booster Gold.
He'd be a great character to send over. I don't know. It's a good question. I mean, I feel like, I wouldn't want to lose him, obviously, but I remember in the JSA crossover when Flash went over, is a couple of very funny scenes because he runs into like these people hunting the X-Men, and he's like, "What the fuck? Like, they're just superheroes."
The JLA Avengers crossover.
Yeah,
you said JLA.
Oh,
I thought you said something else.
JLA Avengers. Yeah. I don't know what I said. JLA Avengers is what I meant. Yeah. That when Flash went over to the Marvel Universe, he was like, "Why are all these people so mad at this superhero?" But they're because they were X-Men, right? So they're mutants, and he couldn't access the Speed Force. But Quicksilver doesn't count. I'm sorry, guys. A character like the Flash in the Marvel Universe would be incredible because they don't have a lot of people with like that level of power and time travel abilities.
Marvel's power set has always been
much lower.
Like much lower and oddly kind of spread out more.
Well, in Flash and Green Lantern, I mean, those two characters, it takes Superman and Wonder Woman out of the equation. Flash and Green Lantern are arguably more powerful than Superman. I think, you have crazy Grant Morrison or Silver Age Superman. That's a little bit different. But I think if you just, Flash would be a real, to see what he would do in the Marvel Universe with full access of the Speed Force, would be very interesting. Let's see. This question from Dylan. He says, who do you guys want on Batman after Tom King's run? I have the slightest idea.
No, I don't.
I don't.
Whoever it is, I feel fucking sorry for him.
Well, and
because when we heard Snyder was ending, we were like, oh crap, and
yeah,
you're like, who's this Tom King guy?
Well, we knew, but it was like that's big shoes.
That's big shoes to fill.
Snyder again. When you have Grant Morrison on, that's tough act to follow. So we had a couple of years of other people randomly doing it, and then when they relaunched, Scott Snyder came out of nowhere to do it. Right? Clearly, he had done a little bit of work for Marvel.
Well, he had set up
They had him on Detective. Let me rephrase this. When they put him on Detective, we were like, "Who the hell is this guy?"
Yeah.
But it was Detective, so it didn't really matter, right? And then Black Mirror was super good. They gave him the keys to the kingdom. They gave him the main Batman title, and that was like, wow.
He's still writing that Batman story.
Yeah. That's so huge.
Because we're getting last night. Next week.
Yeah, soon. Next week? 2 weeks? It's soon.
They posted their comps. Normally when the creators post their comps, it's the next week.
Yeah. And then Tom King had obviously had a few books under his belt, Vision and Omega Men and Grayson. But obviously, again,
his Grayson was good.
It was really good. Yeah, co-writer with Tim Seeley. But putting him on the main Batman title again, big shoes. So it's going to be someone that we're looking at right now, like we don't even know about. Right? It's not going to be one of their big writers. It's going. I think giving someone that's got this really cool new take on it is a good idea because, again, Morrison sort of had his whole story. Snyder had his arc. Tom King has his arc, and you're not going to continue that. You just have to put your own.
You just have to put your own spin on it and let it go.
Do your own story.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? We'll see.
Paul says, with Robert Pattinson cast as Batman, not yet, but close. Do you think they should dress him less bulky armor and portray a skinnier ninja-type Batman instead of a huge dude who can flash past the screen and disappear? I mean, no, because that's not Batman, right? That's not the modern-day Batman.
Batman is a slightly yoked guy with a suit on.
Yeah, and again, I don't need him in, like, Dark Knight armor with, like, a giant metal helmet.
No.
But
it's not like he's going up against Superman every time.
Pattinson's I don't say a thin guy. I mean, he can bulk up. I don't need him
for the role. But
I don't need him to be fucking jacked.
No,
but I think he's tall.
As long as they get him to kind of a Chris Hemsworth or Chris Evans.
Well,
Hemsworth is a little like taller, skinnier.
That's more than enough. At least that's more.
So you were thinking Chris Pratt or Paul Rudd?
Chris Pratt is
Paul Rudd.
Well, Paul Rudd didn't get.
No, he did a little bit.
A little bit.
But that man is just.
Chris Pratt got in shape quite a bit. And that's probably a little more closer to what he would want to do. Chris Evans and Chris Hemsworth in those early movies are fucking
godlike.
Again, yeah, Batman probably should look like that, but I don't need it to look like that. Again, if you're in that big suit, it doesn't really matter.
As long as there's no nipples.
Indicator says, thoughts on the season wrap-ups for CW next week. Hopefully next week.
I'm not even going to be able to say anything.
And what are your predictions for Crisis, man? Crisis, I really want them to bring the Supergirl Earth and
just bring it all in line. Yep. Like Batwoman comes in and like.
Yep. I mean, Batwoman's already here, right? And I want the Supergirl Earth.
We're getting the stuff before.
Yeah.
So like maybe stuff after. Like this is an earlier one, or
huh?
Like this season is an earlier season before
You said they had the previous they had the Arrow crossover this time. Which one was what was this one? What was the last crossover?
What? You talking about the Crisis?
No, so the Batwoman show is based in before. What was the last crossover event? I forgot.
Yeah,
Elseworlds. Before Elseworlds. So that can run its course, but for Crisis, you would want it to line up, wouldn't you? Or does it matter? I mean, is that part of the Crisis lineup? Is Batwoman slated to be part of the Crisis lineup?
Oh no, I don't. I don't know. I don't believe so.
So yeah, so it's separate.
No, because it takes place prior to when she appears on Arrow.
Yeah, during the
Flash
stuff. So
yeah, so I think Crisis would just reset all that. Would just move the Earths over. And I assume Arrow will die. I don't want him to, but I assume he will. I would think it's unlikely they'll kill Flash or Supergirl because, as far as I know, their shows are still going on. I expect Legends will end after it. I know the ratings aren't the best. So I love the show, but I get the feeling they're going to wrap it up. They'll kill a few characters. They may bring some characters back.
Yeah. They could bring new characters in.
I know a number of actors have left in the finales of these shows. So I don't know if that's just trying to thin it up a little bit for next year, or if they're going to really wrap up everything, or I don't know. I have no idea. My number one thing is I want them to bring Supergirl Earth over into the air. So they're just all together. That's my number one thing.
So they can run over to National City.
It's from Jackie. Jackie, I haven't heard from a long time. He says, have you guys ever had to put cayenne pepper on your comics and comic supplies to keep your dogs from eating them? And he has multiple pictures of his dogs chewing his long boxes. Holy crap, no. My dogs don't touch my comic boxes.
Can I see this?
Yeah, this is dog eating his comic box.
Oh, God, put that...
Jackie, oh, cute dogs. But no, my dogs never mess with my stuff.
No, mine...
Leanne was like vacuuming the other day. I was reading Heroes in Crisis. This was like a couple weeks back. And one of my dogs was sitting next to me. And the second she turns the vacuum on, my dog just goes ballistic and runs out of the room, but jumps on my lap as I'm reading the comic.
Was it Heroes 7 or was it 8?
It was 8. It was the most recent issue. And just puts claws right through the page and then shoots off. And I'm like, well, guess I'm bringing home another copy of Heroes in Crisis.
I haven't had issues with my dog chewing on the boxes or peeing on the boxes.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. But that sucks.
I know why your dog's doing it. You're not giving your dog enough attention.
I guess.
You need to give your dogs attention. Yeah, and your dog is mad because you're giving comics more attention than you're giving them.
Dog, maybe. Another question about Crisis from Generic Protagonist. He says, it's shaping up to be a pretty big deal for CW. Do you think it can live up to the hype? Well, I sure hope so. Do you think we'll see a good amount of characters showing up from places outside the established Arrowverse? Now, that's the big question. Because, again, lots of rumors that Tom Welling is going to be on it.
Oh, that'd be great.
I assume we'll get the 90s Barry Allen, right, from the 90s show back. I would love if they brought in, like, the actresses from the Birds of Prey TV show. They bring back any of the cast of Smallville.
If they could bring in movie ones.
I mean, that would be incredible. Ryan Reynolds. Listen, what are you doing? You're doing nothing. Fox is not going to...
He's doing a ton of stuff.
He ain't doing shit right now. Detective Pikachu's done. 2 won't be out for a while. Deadpool 3 is not going to happen for quite some time. You're on a little bit of a break. Put the suit back on. Show back up as Green Lantern. Do me a solid, okay? Do me a solid. I know you're listening. Show up as Green Lantern.
He's definitely listening because he loves it how Toby says his name.
Come on, my name is Ryan. His name is Ryan. We got so much in common. Just come on and do this. Do this for the Ryans, okay?
You're the worst.
More
questions.
This it might be the last question. Let's see.
Okay.
Let's see. I think that's it. One question from M. He says, checking in to see what are the hosts currently reading and enjoying. It's the same stuff, man. I'm always reading the same stuff. Love my DC.
Yeah.
Slowly catching up on some Marvel books. I I've been burning through a bunch like at a time. I've been finishing up Charles Soule's Daredevil run, so I haven't started Zdarsky's yet, but I really like Charles Soule's Daredevil run from last year.
I heard it improved towards the end.
I've liked almost the entire thing. Again, reading into big chunk reads a lot easier.
Yeah.
Catching up a little bit on Nick Spencer's Spider-Man. I'm just before Hunted, and that was one of my favorite books last year. I'm still really enjoying that. Dan Slott's FF, I read the last couple. I think I'm 2 issues back on. I like the Galactus and Doom and story well enough. The wedding with Thing and Alicia Masters, that was nice. I'm gonna try to catch up on Uncanny because so I'd caught up on all the X-Men stuff prior to Uncanny. So I want to burn through Uncanny, X-Force, all that before Hickman's FF starts. Hickman's X-Men starts in a couple months.
10 men?
Yes. Very little indie stuff. My indie reading's so bad these days. I have a bunch of trades and I just don't read anything. Just so many books to read. It's embarrassing. I say this every year, but I do need to catch up on some of my indie books. Even stuff like Walking Dead and Saga, and
you're
like
behind on those
way back.
Yeah.
And even a couple I started. Of course, like the one book I started, I was like, you know what? I'm going to start this book, and I'm actually going to keep up with this. I really like the artist. The writer's fine, but I really like the artist. I'm going to read Seeds. I just fucking cursed that book. Because when they did get 2 issues out,
it was 2 issues,
and it's gone. It's just like
it wasn't even that great story.
No, it wasn't. But I was like, but I love David Aja so much.
I like Aja too, and I'm like,
I non-playered it. I just fucking cursed this book into oblivion. So if you want your independent book to keep coming out, don't have me read it. Yeah. But it's a ton. I have a big stack of Black Hammer I need to read. I have a big stack of East to West. It's so many books. It's just so embarrassing.
It's not embarrassing. It's just where's the time?
Get no time.
Like the amount of media that we have to ingest is disgusting.
You don't have to.
You don't have to,
but I like it.
I like it.
Yeah. That's the thing. There's so much that I like.
Well, so I'm not caught up on any Marvel at all. I'll go back and pick up Jason Aaron's Omnibus collected stuff when it's...
I've read everything up to War of Realms. I just haven't read War of Realms yet, so...
I read the first War of Realms, and I was like, okay. DC, I'm loving Flash. I'm loving Detective. Batman. Like, Hawkman's been really good.
Yeah.
One that's surprisingly really good that I don't think a lot of people have been reading.
But we got to talk about Hawkman. I'm gonna by the time we get to the end of year wrap up stuff, it's straight up Hawkman and Freedom Fighters might make my top 3.
That was my next one.
They are
Freedom Fighters
so good.
So I'm stoked when Freedom Fighters has a new issue. I'm like, oh yeah,
Robert Venditti, man. I'm sorry for all the shit I said about this guy when he took over.
No, it was warranted. When again, it's a perfect example of you're following Jeff Johns. Good the fuck luck.
Yeah, but boy, his Green Lantern stuff.
It was rough at the beginning, but it improved towards the end.
Yeah,
and he was doing Exo Manowar. He did the relaunch for Valiant, which is amazing.
But Hal Jordan's fantastic. Hawkman.
Hal Jordan was really good.
This is and that Brian Hitch did all 12 issues of this first arc. It is like a perfect Hawkman graphic novel.
Yeah.
Again, you need maybe a little bit of knowledge of the character because it does go into the crazy parallel pasts and
parallel time universe, species.
Man, the Hawkman book has been so good. Freedom Fighters is. I love punching Nazis. And if you love punching Nazis, you need to read Freedom Fighters.
Mm-hmm.
Ratsies. It's so... Freedom Fighters is so good. Mm-hmm. And it's such a hokey concept that usually doesn't work. Nothing against Jim Palmiotti. But he tried multiple times to do a Freedom Fighters book.
Yeah, and it didn't... The thing is I think...
There was nothing going on.
I think with Freedom Fighters, that dark tone that they gave it, but that also very...
serious like JSA feeling that we got when Robinson did that that little JSA.
Which one?
The last JSA.
Golden Age?
No, the last JSA run. They had they went to Nazi world basically.
Like the pre New 52 stuff.
Yeah.
Like the tail end of it.
Yeah. It was like issues. It was like issues. It was after Johns had finished.
Yeah.
The JSA, and then like it jumped into it was like only like 2 issues.
Maybe it might have been James Robinson. Yeah, I don't remember.
But like you have to go dark on those, and I remember flipping through those Freedom Fighter books that Palmiotti did, and they're just so bright. Like you have to embrace kind of like what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, the characters were Freedom Fighters is a tough sell.
Yeah.
They're never going to be the biggest book on the market, but I really, really enjoy what Vendetta's been doing.
And the art, who's the it's
is it Eddie Burroughs? I think he's doing the art. Yeah, he's really good. I love the like the SS Plastic Men.
Oh, these are so creepy.
Yeah, they're really good. I like them a lot. Like the army of like Nazi plastic men.
Scary.
Really good. And all the shit with like Adolf Hitler Jr. Right?
Yeah.
I really like what they've done with that Freedom Fighters
like
book.
It's never gonna have a like deluxe size hardcover.
It should though.
But like
it really
I
should.
mean, I'll buy the trade of it because it's good.
Yeah, it really should. Man, that Hawkman book needs an oversized hardcover. It's fucking again. It might. The Hawkman book might be better than Jeff Johns' run on Hawkman. That's tough to say.
Oof.
His run is
there, Higgins.
His run was real good. I
haven't actually read it. I need to get those trades.
Really? Yeah. Oh, it's really good. I like it. I like it a lot.
Like again, like you talk about, there's so much stuff to read. I have a lot of stuff like I wasn't into comics at the time, so I have to go back and read.
It spins directly out of JSA. Pick up those John's JSA trades.
Those trades are ugly. The trade dress changes from the first one to the second one. They're ugly.
Whatever.
Oh, yeah, by the way.
Or buy the omnibuses.
Fix your goddamn trade dresses. Anyway.
I already yelled at him about
it. Independent stuff I'm really enjoying. I like Redneck. It's fun. It's the Donny Cates.
Yeah.
Like American Vampire.
Yeah.
I like that one. I really love Manifest Destiny, but I don't know when the next issue is going to come out.
Yeah.
East of West I'm caught up on. It's Hickman. It's East of West. Like
it comes out when it comes out.
It comes out when it comes out. I read it.
Yeah.
I like the direction I think, or the release schedule I think that Rucka is doing for Lazarus.
Yeah.
Like a little oversized issues.
Yeah.
A little spaced
cool.
out. Like I like that a little bit more for that book because you get more. Because it's like Lazarus is such a slow goddamn burn.
Quarterly, I think.
Yeah, it's quarterly now. But it was such a slow burn.
Yeah,
it's good, but it's just you're just like so slow. Yeah. Outcast is good, but it's almost done.
Yeah, that'll be one that I'll probably sit down and read the whole thing once it's over.
I'm caught up with Walking Dead to the last trade.
Cool.
Yeah. But I mean, there's so many titles to read and so much good stuff. Like, it just you just have to find where Bendis' Action Comic. Like just the
main Action Comics has been fantastic.
What is it?
The lead into Event Leviathan is I'm so fucking excited for. Yeah,
good stuff.
Yeah. This issue leads directly into Event Leviathan. So man, just teaming up all those Super Spy, Squad and Checkmate and Cobra and Spiral, and I love all that stuff. And I'm so happy they're kind of putting them all together. And the Question, it's my favorite characters. All right, that is gonna be it. Thank you everyone for listening. A little shorter of an episode when only 2 of us on, but that's okay. It's quality podcast, hopefully.
Quality podcast.
Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back next week. Have some of the stuff to talk about. But first, we have to thank our good friends. Don't forget Impact Theory Comics, Neon Future. Number 4 should be shipping soon. So it means 3 should be shipping soon. No, 3 is shipped.
Yeah, I didn't get my copy.
Yeah, it's because we had damaged copies. More coming. Don't worry. 3 shipped.
The variant cover?
No, of all of them.
Because the variant, it didn't even show the variant on Comic Hub.
Maybe there's not a variant.
No, there was the girl variant. I picked the
The girl one.
To check the little variant. The variant box shouldn't need to be checked. You shouldn't have to do that.
I know. It was not on the list for next week.
Well, I'll take a look.
Yeah.
Well, Impact Theory Comics, Neon Future, go check it out. You heard them.
It's really good. I've been talking about stuff we enjoy.
Yeah.
Neon Future is really good.
Heard them at the top of the podcast. Go check out their book. Julian Titus has the Nerds Without Pants podcast at pixelbit.com. Don't forget to go.
Does that work?
Yeah, that's good. Don't forget to go to pixelbit.com. Check out their podcast, as well as Jody Lawson. He has Canon, the Triad Comics Anthology at triadcomicstudios.com. Give those books a read over there. Sam Che, Joe Duff, Craig Anderson over at Craig P. Anderson. Look, if you are a professional and you want to be a better professional, you should go to CraigPAnderson.com. Check out what he's selling.
I can just imagine.
Got at least one referral from us so far. I hope it's working out.
That's
great.
I can just see him angrily typing that email to you about your Iron Man 3.
If you're an anime fan, you should follow Andrew Nelson Mendez over at Recovery of an Anime Junkie podcast. Man, I love me some anime. I need to start listening more because I love anime. I never get to watch it, but I would like to keep up with it. So I'm going to start.
It's Wikipedia.
That's true, but that takes just as long as actually reading it. Reading manga, watching anime.
Dude, when are you ever going to listen to music?
I listen to music all the time when I'm at work.
Yeah.
New music? Never. Page Turners, a comic book podcast at pageturnerspodcast.libsyn.com, Labsyn, libsyn.com. It's hosting for us and lots of different podcasts are over there. Check them out. As well as Tyler Willits over at Thursday Thunderdome podcast. That's at Thursday T-Dome on Twitter and ThursdayThunderdome.com. Don't forget to go to comicspiracypodcast.com, geekbox.net, and iTunes. Shoot us some reviews. It always helps. And, of course, if you want to listen to us on YouTube, you can hear us at youtube.com/comicsconspiracy. All these episodes get uploaded audio only, but, it's worth checking out. And those long-form questions, you can send them over to the Comic Conspiracy at geekbox.net. Don't forget to go to Patreon, patreon.com/comic-conspiracy. If you like this podcast and you want to help support it, if you buy comics from us, that's the best way. But giving us money at patreon.com/comic-conspiracy is really good too. Kick us a couple bucks. Mm-hmm. If you buy your comics digitally, you can go to digital.comicsconspiracy.biz. That is where we sell all our digital comics. Make sure you go on there and check out the big sales they have on there. Lots of good stuff. And, of course, physical comic books if you want to get some stuff mail-ordered. You're always welcome to come down to the store in Sunnyvale, California. But if you go to comicsconspiracy.biz, you can purchase books on there. And since we're talking about that, I should do my occasional reminder that we do have mail-order subscriptions. We do lots of mail-order these days.
We're up to 25 people, monthly.
Month, yeah, and lots of little one-off mail order stuff. So if you don't get a comic store near you and you like to get comics,
hey, if you have a comic shop near you and you're just not happy with them,
well,
give us a try.
It happens. Comicsconspiracy.biz or go over to customer.comichub.com. Select Comics Conspiracy as your store, and we'll be in touch to set you up for some mail order subscriptions. And if you are a Comic Hub user currently at the store, I've seen some screenshots of the new app. The update's coming very soon. I think we're actually supposed to get some good images pretty soon to look at in a beta test. So hopefully in the next just couple weeks, there's going to be some updates to the website. Lots of big updates coming to Comic Hub. So if you're a Comic Hub user,
get ready for some new stuff, but it's going to be better.
Yeah, lots of good stuff. That app needed an update badly. Yep. Very old, very out of date. SpiritofBrock.com, that's Brock's blog, video pull list, and unboxing video site.
Yeah, I've recorded the Joelle Jones Wonder Woman. I need to put it up.
Cool.
And then I have I think 2 more.
Nice.
And I've started to try and do 2-minute reviews.
Just of recent comics?
So I did. The one I got up was the 6 Days.
Okay. Oh, the
straight to graphic novel by
Robert Venditti.
Yep. Really, really good. Highly recommend you check that out. And I have one that I need to get up as well in regards to the DC Inc., the Mara Tidebreaker, and Under the Moon, the Catwoman tale.
Yep. Go over to Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension. That's Charlie's Doctor Who podcast, as well as Etsy.com/shop/Leanne Hill Art, Leann, Leanne Hill Art. That is my wife Leanne's Etsy store. You can pick up any of her prints there. We also have all of them here at the store as well. And I have just slacked on doing this. I actually have all of them set up in Comic Hub so I have to push the images live. They're also going to be available on our website at comicsconspiracy.biz very soon. If you're on Twitter, I'm Ryan Higgins Ryan. You can follow me. Brock is Brock Sager. The store is Comics Con Store. Make sure you follow all of us. I've been bad at posting on the store account recently. I need to fix that.
Yeah, you need to improve that a little.
It's busy.
You've done the previews. Like when previews post new stuff or like...
It's easy to post on... I post a lot of the stuff on Facebook, but Twitter's harder promoting stuff because I can't just copy and paste, a giant press release.
Yeah.
Of course, check out the Geek Box, including our Game of Thrones episode going up tomorrow night or Thursday morning. Comedy Button, Manga Machinations, and Infinite Binge, which should be over at YouTube. Check those out. Why does it want me to save this text file? I don't think I did anything to it. Oh, well, that's fine. We're going to wrap up. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode. We'll be back next week.